and gentlemen, let's get ready to rumble!
Minutes, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Mr. Minister, just want to confirm first the dollar amount of the taxpayer subsidy in the form of the loan to from the Canada Infrastructure Bank to BC Ferries. It's $1 billion, correct?
That's my understanding, yes.
Do we know how many jobs that $1 billion from taxpayers is going to create in China?
What?
You would have to ask officials in China, I think, related to that company. I don't know that. I haven't seen numbers related to that procurement.
Do you think it's a good use of taxpayers' money to offshore Canadian jobs in another country, particular one that's adversarial to our own?
I certainly want to see Canadian jobs created as much as possible in all the infrastructure investments, obviously in the housing investments that we do. And I respect the independence of the infrastructure bank. It's created and to be independent of political interference.
I mean, you say the bank is independent, but it's also true, is it not, that under Section 8 of that Act, you appoint the board, under Section 9, you appoint the CEO, and under Section 17, you approve their annual budget. So don't you think there should be, if we're shelving out $1 billion in taxpayer money, there should at least be a Canadian content requirement?
To the chair, I think what the member is suggesting, I agree with in terms of my direction going forward as the new minister, and with the opportunity to give policy direction. Very clear that I cannot and will not interfere in the business of the infrastructure bank. It is an independent agency. But in policy direction, I will be giving clear direction for Canada, by Canada, and benefiting Canadian workers and Canadian materials.
I appreciate that answer, Minister. Are you then basically admitting that it was a mistake for the government not to have that policy direction in place prior to this agreement being signed in March?
To the chair, in terms of prior governments, I think they were operating in a very different context, and we've seen a lot of change in the world in the last 6 months, and certainly change in government. We are a new government, and I'm taking direction from my Prime Minister and all his efforts to work for Canadians and Canadian jobs and all of our trade affairs and in our investment going forward.
So, Minister, some things have changed, some things have not. So I'll just ask you a couple quick yes or no questions. Would you agree that the People's Republic of China is a dictatorship?
To the chair, I'm here to speak for my ministry and not to make geopolitical assertions.
It's a pretty basic question. I mean, if we're giving $1 billion of taxpayer money to a state-owned company, we should probably be on the same page of whether this country is a dictatorship or not.
Wow! Okay.
To the chair, I want to clarify that the government of Canada made an investment and created an infrastructure bank that is arm's length from government to invest in infrastructure here in Canada. And we do not have direction on what those investments are specifically. We trust that to a board.
Minister, do you like President Xi's chances in the next election?
Point of order.
Thank you. Yes, one moment, everybody. Mr. Gunn, I'm going to pause your time. You have a minute left, roughly. Ms. Wien.
I'm just curious how this is relevant back to the conversation that we're having.
We're giving $1 billion in taxpayer money to a country that is a dictatorship that is abusing human rights. I think it's relevant.
It's her point of order, Mr. Gunn. It's a valid point of order on that particular question. Let's try and make sure that we use the time that we have with the minister to ask questions relating to the BC Ferries contract. So I'll turn the floor back over to you, Mr. Gunn, and ask you to be more specific about issues relating to the BC Ferries contract.
I think this is very specific. Mr. Minister, do you believe that the People's Republic of China is currently engaged in unfair trade practices and tariffs against Canadian agricultural and seafood sectors?
Well, we're waiting.
Through the chair, I certainly will speak strongly in favor of Canadian agriculture, Canadian workers. Our industries should come first. This procurement happened through BC Ferries. It's not a decision that the government of Canada had anything to do with.
But you're subsidizing with $1 billion in taxpayer money, are you not, Minister?
Through the chair, this investment from the Canada Infrastructure Bank is in BC Ferries. It is a loan to BC Ferries for a procurement that they've done. So it is not the government of Canada making these decisions. It is the Infrastructure Bank financing BC Ferries, and BC Ferries made the decision on the procurement.
But Mr. Minister, it is the government of Canada and your department that sets the policies that guides the bank that then invests or loans at below market interest rates taxpayers' money. Do you agree with the Prime Minister of this country that China is Canada's biggest national security threat?
Through the chair, I don't see where that comes into play. It's a BC Ferries procurement decision, and
well, Mr. Minister, we're giving them $1 billion in taxpayer money to subsidize a dual-use civilian military industry.
Prochainement, nous allons Monsieur Lauzon. Monsieur Lauzon, la parole est